Sometimes it just gets harder. Good morning and welcome to Coffee and the Word. Sometimes it just gets harder. That's kind of almost a universal truth, right? It just seems to get harder sometimes when you're expecting it to get easier. And so I want to paint the picture for you. We're in Exodus. Today we'll be in Exodus chapter 5. But in the book of Exodus, the people are crying out to God. They want relief from the oppression that they're feeling. And so God sends this guy named Moses. We talked a little bit about him. And God is doing something, right? And God is making some moves. And so Moses comes to Pharaoh, says, "Let my people go so they may go out and sacrifice to God, so they may go out and worship God in the wilderness." And Pharaoh is like totally against it. And so you can imagine what it must be like to be the people of Israel when Moses shows up, right? With deliverance. We're finally gonna be set free from this oppression. This is fantastic. Everything we ever wanted is about to come true. We're finally going to be set free. We've heard the stories of the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. We've heard how many wonderful and mighty things he's capable of doing. We heard about how he delivered Abraham from the hands of multiple kings and destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah. We've heard all these stories all our lives. And finally, he has sent us a rescuer. He has sent us somebody who's going to take us out of this oppressive reality and into something greater. And the crazy thing is a couple of things. Number one, they don't even know what greater is. They don't understand the promise of Abraham. They don't understand that they will be a great nation. They don't understand that they're going to possess this fantastic land that flows with milk and honey. And they don't understand that through them, all the nations of the earth will be blessed. They don't know all that. They just believe that if it's just a little better, it's a lot better, right? And we get there. Sometimes we just want things to be a little better. And we don't even anticipate that sometimes they're a lot better. And so that's the situation. So Moses comes in, talks to Pharaoh. Pharaoh's response is, you know what? These people out here, they have time to cry. If they have time to cry, they have time to make their own bricks. They can gather their own straw. They can gather their own clay. They can put it on them that they now have to do that themselves. And I want the same number of bricks brought to me as before. And so this has gotten worse. The deliverer's here, but everything gets worse. Why is it that it seems like things get worse? And this has to be something that you experience too. Like during your lifetime, when you start making moves and start changing things, sometimes it seems like it only gets worse. It doesn't get better. It seems like you're making right decisions and you're setting good goals, but it just gets worse. Even if you believe God is in the process of delivering you from something, it seems like worst is first. And that's what's happening here. I want you to listen. The king of Egypt said, the same day Pharaoh gave the order to the slave drivers and overseers in charge of the people, "You are no longer to supply the people with straw for making bricks. Let them go and gather their own straw, but require them to make the same number of bricks as before. Don't reduce the quota. They are lazy. That is why they're crying out, 'Let us go and sacrifice to our God.' Make them work harder for the people so that they keep working and pay no attention to lies." And so they go to Pharaoh and they're like, "Why are you doing this to us? Why are you?" In fact, they went to Pharaoh and says, "Why have you treated your servants this way? Your servants are given no straw, yet you are told, 'Make bricks.' Your servants are being beaten, but the fault is with your own people." And then Pharaoh says, "No, it's because you're lazy. You want to go out and sacrifice to your God because you're lazy." And I want you to listen to what happens next, because this is what happens to us next. They go to their deliverer, they go to Moses, and they say this: "We're in trouble. You are not to reduce the number of bricks." When they left Pharaoh, they found Moses and Aaron waiting to meet them, and they said, "May the Lord look on you and judge you. You have made us obnoxious to Pharaoh, and his officials have put a sword in their hand to kill us." In other words, you only made it worse. And that's maybe the thing that I want us to grasp here, is if you know the rest of this story, you know that the worst is about to become better and then worse again and then better and then worse again. Like this process of deliverance is oftentimes painful and marked with lots of pitfalls and mountaintops. They're going to see things they never could have imagined they'd seen, and they're going to experience things they never thought they could endure. The story of the Exodus is a good analogy for the lives that you and I often lead. Sometimes we don't think we can make it through the dip. And sometimes we don't think we can stay on the mountain. And so what I want to encourage you to know is just because it may not look like you hope it looks, God is still doing something. And your deliverance may not feel the way you hoped it would feel, but God is still doing something. Keep crying out to God, and don't do what the Israelite people do and say, why are you doing this to me? Like, stop it. I'll just be a slave. You don't want to continue being a slave to whatever situation you're in. And sometimes you have to go through the pit to get to the mountaintop. Anyway, I hope you have a great day. I want to remind you tonight is Wednesday. We have services at 7 o'clock for children, youth, and young adult, or youth and adults. I think today they're doing the 23rd Psalm as the fellowship. And then in youth class, we're going to be talking about anxiety. And so I hope you'll join us for that. It's going to be an awesome night tonight. God bless you. This has been another edition of Coffee and the Word.